Welcome back to Footballology. So this is gonna be my second part of my NFL mock draft. I'm really excited to jump right into it. Starting off with the Chargers here. I went George Karlaftis. I think that this is a good fit for them. Now they can also go offensive lineman, but I feel like to me, at least the way they're trending this offseason is to really get this defense to be something to be reckoned with. Going out getting a guy like J.C. Jackson, bringing in Khalil Mack. Now you add George Karlaftis to that defensive front. That defensive front becomes really, really dangerous. And hopefully Joey Bosa can stay healthy for a full season, because then at that point they would just be a team to be reckoned with. I like the Chargers and I like what they're doing. Another, like I said, offensive lineman would be a really good one right here. I was leaning that way. I'm always leaning towards offensive lineman, always, because you got to protect your investments. But I think that right now Justin Herbert is okay, and they're okay offensively. Let's try to get this defense to be more competitive. And also with the Chiefs letting go of Tyreek Hill, yeah, you gotta do something. And now you don't have to worry about covering him. Moving on to the Eagles at number 18. Now with the Eagles, this was an interesting pick, but after really dissecting and really looking through their roster, I felt like a guy like Trent McDuffie really fit what they were trying to, what they need to do anyways, and really try to help out this secondary. Darius Slay is literally the only person back there doing anything, and getting a guy like Trent McDuffie can really get that secondary hopefully going in the right direction. Give them another playmaker back there, and don't just rely on Slay being your number one corner. And then Slay's getting older too, so you definitely want to try to do something like that. They got a good front seven. Adding Trent McDuffie can only help this team out even more. And then we move on to the Saints at number 19. Uh, Sorry, check my notes. Oh, this was a good one. This was an exciting pick for me, actually. So I went with Treylon Burks. The reason why I went with Treylon Burks, obviously we know about Michael Thomas and his situation. We don't know if he's going to come back, if he's going to come back even anywhere near where he was when he was like, big boy Mike, and he was doing all those things. But Treylon Burks definitely gives him somewhat of the same similar receiver, and gives him another big receiver on the outside that can run some routes and do some really a lot of clean route running, and those little nuanced things like Michael Thomas. Now I'm not saying Treylon is Michael Thomas, but at least starts to give you the ability to replace him, and then maybe make him more expendable down the stretch, which would be really interesting. Because me personally, I would like to see him somewhere else, possibly, because I think the Saints are borderline in a rebuild, and so you can get him on a team that can actually use his abilities, and that'll be really interesting to see what happens from there. But Treylon Burks to the Saints at 19, I think is a really solid pick. Moving on to the Steelers, I went Trevor Penning. They need offensive line help. Penning is a Steeler through and through. Penning's going to give them that rough nose kind of guy up front, and it really helped this run game and whoever the quarterback is. Unfortunately, what happened to Dwayne Haskins, because that's really sucky. That's my condolences, 100%. Haskins, I think, was really trying to turn his life around, turn his career around, turn everything around, and just become this staple, this guy that we all can look for and say, like, look what he did, look how he turned his life around. And so it was really unfortunate what happened with him. But getting a guy like Trevor Penning, I think Trevor Penning definitely gives the Steelers something they were missing last year. And we know Najee Harris was getting beat up. We know Big Ben was getting beat up. Penning is a guy, even though he's not like the most prolific pass blocker, he's gonna at least let the Steelers be hard nosed. And I think that's something they really want to lean into moving forward from this point on. Moving on to number 21, I had the New England Patriots. Now I was really hesitant on this. I was a Jameson Williams. I was extremely hesitant on this. But then I thought about it. Nick Saban. Nick Saban and Bill Belichick are like this. They're best friends. Like, we all know that. And so I think that Jameson Williams getting hurt when he did, I seen that he was recovering really well, and it looked like he was on schedule to recover at a good pace, whatever the case may be. I think that that's going to help out. For one, Bill's going to call up Nick. Nick, I'm like, yeah, he good. And Bill said, all right, let's make it happen. Then also Jameis Williams gets the team up with Mac Jones. Granted, I don't think they had any connection. I was looking for that, and that was kind of going to be my really talking point, or my staple point of it all. But realistically, they didn't have any connection. But I really liked Jameson Williams there. They need the receiver help. They need that go-to receiver, and I think Jameson can be that guy. And it looked like he's trending in the right direction as far as coming off his injury. So why not take him right here at 21? I think that's a solid spot for him to go. Moving on to 22. Now this was sucky because I did take Treylon Burks to the Saints, but I was like, okay, we're gonna go with the not next best receiver, but another good receiver, and that's in Drake London. Drake London, like, he's trending in the right direction from his recovery, and he's a guy that I think that now Aaron Rodgers can say he has a first round wide receiver, right? And then they get a guy like this, but I think that Treylon and Drake London can easily be interchangeable right here. I think both of those teams need the receiver spot, and these guys can be easily interchangeable, but I think Treylon's more like Michael Thomas, and that's why he went to the Saints. Whereas Drake London can be closer towards that big body, back shoulder, 50-50 ball guy that Aaron Rodgers really like to throw balls that way. Like he throw like that. Now Drake, I don't know if his route tree is as clean and can like nobody's route tree is as good as Devontae Adams. Let me shut up. But I think Drake London can be that go-to receiver for Aaron Rodgers for the foreseeable future. But outside of that, I just like I said, they can easily be interchangeable, but Drake London there, no brainer. Moving on to the Cardinals. This was an interesting one. Now with the Cardinals, it was like this is a team that should easily be picking like around the 29, 28, 30 range, but they're not. They're picking at 23 because they're goofy, whatever. But I went with Lewis Seen for them to help that secondary out. Now, Lewis Seen can play closer to the line of scrimmage, allowing Buda Baker to play at the top of the tree and let him to be that roamer guy and let him do what he does. But I think he also can flip those safeties and go both ways. But Lewis Seen, I think stock and his value has really risen since the combine, and it really shown that he can possibly be more than just a box safety. He probably can cover some tight ends out of, and cover the tight ends and cover running backs out of the backfield. That's what I was looking for. And he could do those little nuanced things in the pass coverages, but at the same time be effective in the run game. And I really didn't want to take another defensive player for the Arizona Cardinals because it seemed like that's what they've done with the last 3 seasons. Isaiah Simmons, Xavier Collins, and now Lewis Seen. It's like really trying to get this defense to trend in the right direction, and they're doing everything in their power. Pass rusher is also another thing here because I know there's Chandler Jones, so that could be an option too. But like I said, again, a guy like Seen can increase or improve your coverage ability and see what happens from there. They don't need another receiver. I think they're good at the receiver spot. In this class, we all know this. This class is so deep at the receiver position that you can go get a receiver in the second or third round and be completely comfortable with whoever you get. So now we're moving on to number 24 with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going with Zion Johnson from Boston College. Now, I think this is a no-brainer pick. When you look at the Cowboys roster, now they could bolster their defense a little bit more because I think their defense could use a little bit of help, but I'm not worried about that. Once again, we can probably address some of those things later. I like Johnson. I think he's a really good, strong, powerful guard, and that's something that I think the Cowboys are kind of wanting to get back to. It's so hard to really figure out the direction they want to go offensively. Do you want to let Dak throw it all over the field, or do you want to try to sprinkle in some Dak or some Zeke and Tony Pollard? Like, what do you want? Right now I feel like the Cowboys don't have a true identity offensively, but it's gonna be interesting to see what they do moving forward. But getting a guy like Johnson and the 24th pick really start to get this offense line back to its old look possibly, and see if they can be that dominant offense line like they've been the last couple of seasons. My phone decided to actually turn off on me. Okay. Anyways, moving on to the Buffalo Bills. Now this one was they were right there with the Chargers. I did go running back, and I went Breece Hall, and the reason why, for one, I think the Buffalo Bills are going to try to get a more balanced offense this year. They understand the elite status of Josh Allen is good, don't get me wrong, but they need to start to really be a balanced offense to get themselves to that next level, be able to run the ball and really close out games. Breece Hall can be a bigger back. He's a bigger back than what they currently have on their roster, and probably quicker than Zach Moss, bigger than Devin Singletary. Now, Devin Singletary can easily still be your change of pace back. Zach Moss can be a goal line back, whatever the case may be. But Breece Hall can be that every down guy, can catch the ball out of the backfield, can run protect or pass protect, and can do those little nuanced things too. And I know taking a running back in the first round just seems so weird and oddball, but the Buffalo Bills have so much freedom. Once again, they're one of those luxury teams. Don't need a quarterback, don't need a receiver. Offense line, not really. Defensive front, no, they took 2 guys last year. Linebacker, possibly. Safeties, no. Corner, yes. That could be a possibility too. But I like the running back right here. Breece Hall is the best back right now on the board. Take him. I even like Brian Robinson, and that could be an option. Or we take Brian Robinson in the second round, so then we use that pick or this 25th pick either to create more value and trade back. Gotta trade back, or we can address the secondary a little bit with the cornerback position. So I mean, they got options here, but I like, if we're staying here and we're really looking at the board, I really like Breece Hall to the Buffalo Bills. Really start to try to balance out that offense a little bit. Moving on to Tennessee at 26. Well, for Tennessee, now this man, I was indifferent about this because I almost went Christian Harris here, but Christian Harris just did not show me enough to really make me feel comfortable with that. N'Kobe Dean is actually a leader. I think he has some kind of leader status or leadership qualities, and I think that's something Tennessee could possibly use. They did lose a linebacker to free agency, I want to say, and so I think it was Rashad Evans. because I said something about him at one of my videos. But anyways, bringing in a guy like Nakobe Dean can really add some leadership to the middle of that defense. And this defense isn't bad. Like this is just a solid defense. But let Nakobe Dean come in, and they also got a really big defensive front. And a guy like Nakobe Dean needs that big defense front. You can see how he had success at Georgia because look who was in front of him. And so you got to have a big defense front for a guy his size. But allow him to go out there and make plays, run around, do what he do best. And like Tennessee, they're on that brink of luxury because they don't need a lot. They can do really anything at this point. Got to run it back, feel comfortable at the quarterback position, feel comfortable at the receiver position. Now the receiver position could possibly be a thing here too. Offensive line could possibly be a thing here too. But I think that we're going to try to get this defense going in the right direction. I mean, I think defense is now is at a premium. Like I think defense has now come to the forefront of a lot of people's minds, especially you see what happened in the Super Bowl with Aaron Donald getting the game-winning sack, which is really cool. You see how the Cincinnati Bengals played against the Chiefs and how they were able to neutralize. This is hard, but how they were able to neutralize the Chiefs in the second half. That's sore subject. But like that's something I think people are really going to start trying to harp on a little bit more. If we can get some quality defenders, let's go get quality defenders, and we can make up for the offense in the later part. Moving on to Tampa Bay at number 27, I went with, hold on, yeah, here it is, Jermaine Johnson. Yeah, there he is, Jermaine Johnson. This is a no-brainer pick as well. They lost JPP from all the research I did. He's not there anymore. Granted, they do got some guys waiting in the wings, but I think that getting a guy like Jermaine Johnson, ushering him now, especially with Todd Bowles taking over at the head coach position, I think he really likes having a strong defensive front. Getting a guy like Johnson in there now, let him develop, let him grow. You don't have to rush him out there. I forget who the other pass rusher, Tryon from Washington, I think, last year. And so you got him, and then Shaquille Barrett's still there, but he's getting a little bit older. Whatever the case may be, getting a guy Jermaine Johnson, like I said, you don't have to rush him out there. You don't have to say go now. You can say you can slowly leak them in there or ease them into it, and then next thing you know, in about a year or two, now you got an elite pass rusher in your hands, and nobody's the wiser. Moving on to number 28 with the Green Bay Packers. Now we already addressed the offense with Aaron Rodgers. Now Aaron Rodgers can go sleep at night, feel good about himself. I got Drake London at the receiver position. So we're going to move to the defense side of the ball. I'm really going to try to bolster up this defense a little bit. And this, I think, is a pick that we can afford to make right now because we lost Darius Smith. I really can't talk. We lost Darius Smith. We still got Preston Smith, who can we can easily kind of push him out if we want to. Hopefully, Rashawn Gary can really start to come in and really develop into that guy that we thought he was going to be when we took him in the first round. And then we get Ojobo. We get David, and we get him, and we let him redshirt basically because we know he's not going to be healthy, but as time has shown, and somebody else watching something, they put this kind of on my radar, and it made sense. What happened with Jeffrey Simmons in Tennessee? Look how that worked out for them. Look how what happened with Jalen Smith. Granted, Jalen Smith went in the second round, but once again, that worked out pretty decent for the Dallas Cowboys. So we've seen guys come back from these injuries, that they had late in their college career or sometime during the college or during the offseason to transition into the pros, and we see them guys easily come back and be an effective player. So get a guy like him at 28. That's kind of not a throwaway pick, but I mean, you took Jordan Love in the first round, and look what you're doing with that. I'm just gonna leave that out there. Now the moment they're waiting for I think probably 50% of my people to subscribe to my channel, Kansas City Chiefs. Now this one is exciting. This was exciting. I had fun with this. At first, granted, we lost Tyreek Hill for this one of these picks. I know, just take a moment of silence for that real quick. But I was excited for this, though. I was like, we got to really do something here. We got to really make these picks home run picks. I think we can't miss here, and we've missed a lot. So this was fun. Like I said, this was fun. So moving to number 29, right? So this is what I did. I looked. We need cornerback help. I went Kobe Bryant, and here's my reasoning. This is my reasoning. Just follow me if you're a Chiefs fan. Just follow me. So we're gonna go over here. Now this is Kobe Bryant numbers from the combine, right? This is a pretty solid number: 6'1", 193, 30 and 5/8 arms with a 5.38 hand. All right, cool, whatever. We like that. That's solid. 4.5. I can live with that. 17 on the bench. I was like, that's really strong. But I was like, I gotta sell it to you guys because I believe in it. But I'm gonna sell it to you guys. Kobe Bryant is a good corner. Remember this guy. Now, granted, he doesn't have the attitude. I don't think Kobe Bryant has the attitude of Marcus Peters, but look at their numbers. Look at their numbers, right? And we know what Marcus did when he was here for us, and hopefully, the Kobe Bryant can be a guy that can come in and do some of those same similar things because we need that corner. Once again, we look at Marcus, 6 foot, 197, 31 and a half arms, 8 3/8 hands, and then we got 4.53, right? 4.54, 17 on the bench, 17. That's legit. Now I don't think I did, or at least I didn't try to find Kobe's um, vert and broad and everything, unfortunately. But Kobe Bryant did look good at the combine. He did look good throughout the season with Cincinnati. I thought this was a solid pick, and this is how I'm going to sell it to you guys. Now, as much as we hated Marcus Peters as far as like a character guy, we have to admit that he had elite player status. Like, granted, everybody's like, oh, he didn't want to tackle. The man was a ball skill. Like, he had ball skills out of this world. Kobe Bryant has some of those same physical traits as well. Also, if you look at their prospect grade, 6.2. If you take any, value in that, 6.2. Like, right? Like, I feel comfortable with that. So this is how I'm selling it to you guys. I don't know if you like it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you like that pick, then cool. Give it a thumbs up. Moving on to number 30 for the Kansas City Chiefs once again. I was looking at all these receivers. Now, Christian Watson is pretty good, but granted, we go with the small school, talent kind of type questions and all that. Sky Moore, I'm afraid that we might try to take Sky Moore because of his size and possibly speed there. And then Pickens, I didn't like that either. What I did like though, and I don't understand why he was way down here, was Alec Pierce. Yes, 2 Cincinnati Bearcats. We took 2 Bearcats. We already got 1 Bearcat, and it's worked out for us, right? Like, we got a Bearcat on our roster, and it's not quality. Is it not quality? Okay, it's quality. So just follow me. So we're gonna go Alec Pierce here, and I think Alec Pierce is, once again, I think that's kind of the trend for the Chiefs this offseason, is to get bigger. And, like, not try to lose too much speed, but try to get bigger. Because just try to be more physical, right? And so I think a guy like Alec Pierce definitely gives us that opportunity to be more physical at his height and weight and speed. Like, the dude was a solid receiver at Cincinnati, consistent receiver. And hopefully he could be something like that for us in Kansas City. So those are my 2 picks for the Chiefs. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I felt really strong about those. Moving on to the Bengals at number 31. They shouldn't be at 31. They should be at 30, but, whatever. This pick was pretty... It was borderline a no-brainer, if we're being honest. I liked Andrew Booth right here for them. I think that they needed a corner. They needed cornerback help easily. Granted, Eli Apple did get beat up in the Super Bowl, right? They got a Woozier there who's pretty solid too. Offensive lineman is also a possibility too, because I think everybody in the football world really beat up on Cincinnati, especially after the Super Bowl. Like, Jamar Chase was nice, but it was one of those kind of situations. So offensive lineman can definitely be a thing here, but I think Booth, and really just trying to get some younger talent on that secondary, or get some better players in that secondary, see what happens there. And I'm not I wouldn't be mad realistically. And then because of who's left on the board as far as I scrolled up too far. Because of who's on the board still with the quarterbacks, with Carroll and Willis and Pickett and Howell. Maybe if a team really likes one of these quarterbacks, might want to come up in front of Detroit, who we know needs a quarterback because they didn't take a quarterback, who might want to come up in front of Detroit and get one of the quarterbacks that they like here just to get that 5th-year option. Could be a possibility too for the Bengals. But I think trade back, got to have that trade back in there. Either trade back, pick Booth, or any best available corner, or best available offensive lineman you like. So I think in this case, Redmond is there, Smith is there. Those are some guys that I really like too. I think this might be a little slightly rich for them, but those are guys that I like too. So, I mean, Cincinnati, they're in a really good prime position, especially because of what they did in free agency last year. They really set themselves up for success and really have the flexibility with this pick. At 32, I want Kenny Pickett, and the reason why is because I just don't care for any of the other quarterbacks on the board right now. Malik Willis, I know a lot of people are high on him. Me personally, I'm not high on him. I think that Malik Willis still has, the potential is there, but I can't. I think Pickett probably has better upside than Willis. I don't see the arm strength of Willis that people were talking about. The mobility is average at best, and I'm not enamored with him. I'm not excited with him. There's nothing about his game that really says, oh, he could be that guy. And granted, I'm just a guy with a YouTube channel. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I think some NFL teams are in love with him and possibly could take him in the top 10. I don't see it. I don't understand why you would do that. I think you would be hurting your franchise. And if you miss in the first round, especially if you miss on a quarterback, you set your franchise back 5 years. You miss on a quarterback, you go back 5 years. look at it. Look at any team that's missed on the first round quarterback. They set themselves back 5 years. And so I don't think Malik Willis is that guy. If we're talking about all the quarterbacks right now, I like Ritter. I like Kenny Pickett. Sam Howell is like a wild card of mine because I kind of got obsessed with North Carolina like 2 years ago when I was looking at like Javonte Williams and Michael Carter and them and Danny Brown. Like I was obsessed with North Carolina, so that's how Sam Howell kind of became my guy a little bit. But realistically, Malik Willis, I don't see the hype there. Matt Carroll is coming off an injury, so we don't know what he is. And I kid you not, like I was just doing some research on Ole Miss, and I realized Matt Carroll had a clean offensive line at Ole Miss. Side note. Just a random side note. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys in this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like any of these picks, let me know why not and who you think your team should take. And if you do like these picks, let me know what you think about the picks in the comment section below. I'm really excited to hear from you guys. And if you're not a footballologist, I don't know what you're waiting on. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button today. Become a footballologist. And stay safe, football fans.